Speaking of Identity 5 characters, we can't skip over the hunters. As a survivor main, I absolutely despise those guys, with huge shout out to Bloody Mary for turning me into her personal punching bag. So, in today's video, I'm ready to unleash my inner sass and curse them out. Buckle up, folks! This is your fabulous broadcaster, Somina, signing in. Let the roast begin! Alright, so my first instinct was to slap Leo Beck with the nickname Sugar Daddy. But let's be real for a second. He's only sweet to Lisa Beck and cold as ice to everyone else, especially that little demon child wreaking havoc. So yeah, bye-bye, Sugar Daddy. I tried out a few other ideas. Bon Jovi? Nah, too much hair. Dollmaker? Boring. But then, I've got it. Naruto. Okay, before you side-eye me, let me explain. Leo's got this annoying little habit of multiplying himself all over the place. And sure, I could have gone savage and dubbed him Tapeworm, but let's save the brutal insults for someone else. Instead, I went for something with a bit more flair. Enter Naruto. Because let's be honest, aside from being ridiculously OP, Naruto's most famous party trick is creating 100 clones. And when Leo's clones start popping up out of nowhere, tell me, it doesn't feel like you're being swarmed by a ninja army. So there it is, folks. Leo Beck's flashy new nickname, Naruto. Joker is a newbie-friendly hunter. That means if a newbie's playing him, there's a 99.9% chance he will become friendly with the survivors. But hey, that's Joker for you. He's pretty handy and easy to use for beginners, but the second he bumps into survivors who know how to counter him, like Seer and Priestess, he turns into a real joke. I swear, the man literally lives up to his name. Fun fact. Back in the day, I had my fair share of run-ins with a Joker while playing as Helena, and honestly, he might as well have been hired for my personal entertainment. If only all hunters were that considerate. One word for this hunter, invisible. Like seriously, can anyone spot this guy when he blends in with the map? It's like he was born to be an optical illusion. I've had my share of encounters with Jack, and he's either giving me a mini heart attack by sneaking up out of nowhere, or playing sniper from across the map with that fog blade. But honestly, he's actually not too hard to kite, as long as you can predict his fog blade shenanigans. Ganji mains especially love using him as target practice, especially when he forgets to bring excitement. Oh, and let's not forget the special carry animation, Jack. Those ones tend to get all soft and friendly when they run into popular female characters like Vera Nair or Margie. Sometimes I can't help but wonder if this hunter was crafted during a Nettie's brainstorming session where they thought, hey, let's make a scary hunter like something out of Lord of the Rings. And boy, did they nail it with the giant spider vibes. She's chasing you down like she's got somewhere to be, moving faster than my everyday internet connection. And the best part? She can wrap you up in a cobweb, just like the one in the Lord of the Ring movie. But wait a second, we're playing Identity 5 here, where hunters are supposed to be cute and adorable, not giving you nightmares. So, what do? They doll up Violetta, giving her a shiny makeover that's basically a beauty pageant. Now we have a tarantula who looks so good you might just let her hug you to death. And don't even get me started on her heartbreaking lore. I'm sure fans are all up in their feelings sympathizing with her tragic backstory, but let's be real here. At the end of the day, she's still a tarantula. A giant, terrifying tarantula. What can I say about this hunter? Oh, I know. He's a total cheater. Specifically with those sneaky bear traps of his. I get it. He's supposed to be all clever with his traps, setting them up so any poor survivor who steps in is stuck like a mouse in a glue trap. But him? Oh, he's immune. He could waltz through his own bear trap like it's just a casual walk in the park. I was like, "Excuse me, Bane, what kind of hacking program are you using?" Playing against him feels like being a fish dodging left and right to avoid getting caught by the world's most determined fisherman. One wrong move and bam! You're hooked, and now you're just cannon fodder. On the flip side, playing as Bane probably feels like a day out at the lake, just chilling and fishing for survivors. That's why, in my book, he's earned the nickname Fisherman. Because let's be real, that's exactly what he is, minus the boat and bait. Okay, so this Japanese woman really needs to get her diet sorted out. Seriously, what is she eating instead of wooden pallets? I swear she could munch on pallets like they're snacks. I have no idea when she became known as the pallet eater, but one thing's for sure, she's got serious issues with it. A pro Geisha can be cool and all, but put her up against pro survivors, and it's like they're all just chowing down on pallets. She's a total fave among newbie hunters, but I can't tell if it's because she's easy to pick up or if everyone's just simping for her. Along with Mary and Naiad, they're like the prettiest hunters out there. Oh, and here's a fun tidbit. The three formed a rock band called Gemini, but of course, the survivors had to go and call it Cancer. Classic. Mary's rocking out on guitar, Naiad's killing it on drums, and Geisha's up there belting it out as the lead singer. Their big hit, We Hate Cockroaches. Hastur is basically a walking takoyaki, just without the grilling and a whole lot of slapping survivors around. Seriously, everything about him is octopus themed, except for that face of his, which looks like an alien from next door. I mean, the guy's got octopus hands, octopus feet, and even his skills are octopus related. It's like he went all in on the octopus vibe. Who knows? Maybe his mains are just octopuses in disguise. Wu Chang is quite the character with his many talents. He has those black and white forms, each with its own set of skills. Helena mains really can't stand him since he chases them down fast and gives them jump scares, making their lives way harder. On the flip side, Coordinator and Lucky Guy mains are big fans, because they get to take shots at him with their guns. People like to call him Chunguses or Woo Woo, but I prefer to call him Oreo because of those black and white forms. It just fits. Joseph, or Jojo as fans like to call him, is basically IDV's version of Tom Cruise. He's pushing 60 but still out here making every decoder's life a nightmare. He might be old, but he's definitely got the energy to dish out some serious punishment to survivors. The good news? Joseph is pretty easy to counter. His hitbox is kinda busted, so landing hits isn't always in his favor. A lot of Joseph mains rely on his mirror world to mess with time and cipher progress. And most of the time, they love messing with the decoder's mood, taking them from, I got this to, I'm done in a matter of seconds. But the mirror world is literally the only trick up his sleeve. Chasing survivors? Not his strong suit. And finding them? Worse. Half the time he's stumbling around in that black and white filter, completely blind to the Norton spamming emotes right under his nose. Now, when it comes to Aesop mains, it's a whole other level of drama. They either shut Joseph down so hard it's embarrassing, or they end up as his personal target practice. There's really no in-between with those two. In my experience with this game, Burke is so bad, he's practically a walking punchline. But don't get it twisted. That's exactly why I rank him SSS tier in my book. The second you see him, your chances of winning drop to a solid 2%. Not because he's a threat, but because he's so laughably bad, you'll end up toying with him the entire match. At first, yeah, it's a little frustrating. But the minute you realize his only trick is that fancy fence of his, it's game over. For him and for me. Suddenly, it's not about surviving, it's about messing with this grandpa. I've turned it into an art form. Don't let him touch his precious device, all while throwing in a dance or two and snapping a selfie as he fumbles around. What started as a tactic has now become my personal hobby. Honestly, I forget about decoding just because messing with Burke is too much fun. Whoever plays Yidhra must be a professional multitasker because, from my experience, every Yidhra I've faced feels like she's chasing 2 survivors at once while also casually stalking the other 2, making decoding feel like a forbidden luxury. Survivors need 4 people to control their characters, but Yidhra? She's out there controlling 4 survivors on her own, casually multitasking her army of followers like it's nothing. Naturally, I thought I'd give her a try, thinking I could totally handle it. But the second I split between Yidhra and her followers, I had no clue what was going on. Wait, who's following who? Where am I? And before I knew it, I was wandering around the map like a lost puppy. Robbie is definitely a strong chaser, but more often than not, I run into Robbie mains who love to camp their poor prey in the rocket chair. It's like they're setting a trap, just waiting for some brave soul to come to the rescue, only for Robbie to land that flame hit, followed by an axe to the face. Classic camper move. When I do face a chaser Robbie, though, they can get brutal. That fire axe combo is no joke, and they go all out. But let's be real, even the scariest Robbie turns into target practice for Norton mains or an enchantress stacking stuns. And here's a little secret that not many know. Female dancer can actually counter him with her spinning trick. Guess Robbie isn't quite as unstoppable as he thinks.
Holy fucking shit, it's a dinosaur! Jesus Christ, what the fuck? Oh my fucking god, fucking dinosaurs! Holy shit, what the fuck?
If we're talking meme material, this hunter is top tier. He hops around the map like a frog leaping from lily pad to lily pad, and when he catches his prey, he's all about that WWE action, slamming his body down like a pro wrestler trying to body slam a helpless penguin. Then, with a swift swing of his blade, boom! Survivor down in no time! But let's not forget the cherry on top. After landing his hit, he lets out a scream straight out of Jurassic Park, like a T-Rex that's just stumped its toe. So what does that make him? A frog, John Cena, and a T-Rex all rolled into one. But with that face, I'd definitely go with T-Rex. Yup, the jumping T-Rex. Ah, Madame Mary, our elegant French nightmare. She's one of the best hunters out there, not only landing long-range hits, but also zooming in for those quick chases. If you find yourself in a map with no second level, like Red Church or Arms Factory, prepare for Mary to haunt your dreams. Fun fact, her beauty has players simping hard. Some even forget the match and just follow her around like starstruck fans. Then you've got those hunters who try to use her, thinking they can pull it off, only to end up getting clowned by Chi-Chi. This hunter is definitely not for anyone still having flashbacks from getting bombed left and right. He's all about bombs. Need to chase a survivor? Bomb. Guarding a rocket chair? Bomb. The guy's got an unlimited stash of explosives tucked away in that bulky body, and you start to wonder if he could level an entire city if he ever made it to the real world.
What the fuck?
His guarding skills are so good that some players joke that even the most fearless rescuers won't dare go up against a BonBon. Forget rescuing. It's more like running for your life before you get turned into a cannon fodder. Has anyone watching this video ever seen The Nun? You know, that horror movie with the creepy cursed nun who's actually a demon? Yeah, that's Anne in a nutshell. Except instead of a cross, she's got a wooden paddle for slapping survivors, a neck that stretches like it's straight out of Japanese folklore, and her trusty kitten who's probably up to no good. Basically, imagine Valak mixed with a long-necked ghost, plus a witch's cat from European legends. A recipe for chaos, really. Now, rescuing against Anne? That's a gamble. Either you pull it off smoothly, or you get stunned mid-rescue and knocked flat on your face. And when things go wrong, because they probably will, just brace yourself. Your teammates will start spamming yo-yo at you like it's some kind of ritual chant. Admit it. This skinny dude with long hair totally gives off Sadako vibes. I mean, just look at him. He's got that same unkempt face-covering hair, and he's so skinny it's like he's surviving on one meal every 3 days. And then their completely disheveled coat and trousers, making him look like a violinist who missed his big break and ended up living on the streets. Sad times. Antonio's whole game is about attacking survivors with his strings, but honestly, if you can predict his string attacks, you're good. He's a decent camper, though not quite BonBon level. And let's be real, IDV just doesn't pull off the scary factor with him. Instead of freaking me out, he's more like Sadako from The Ring on a bad day. But hey, that's IDV for you. Honestly, there's only one surefire way to beat this hunter. Just approach her and tip her out of her wheelchair. Then toss that chair far, far away, and she'll be chasing you at the speed of a turtle running a marathon. Easy win, right? Jokes aside, despite her, mobility issues, Galatea is stunningly beautiful. Too bad she didn't make the top 3 in the Gemini band lineup. Fun fact, she was almost recruited as their drummer, but the deal fell apart when she found out the song was about cockroaches. She hates them so much she declined, and honestly, I can't blame her. Priestess is basically her sworn enemy, and that feud probably runs deeper than just band drama. Percy is basically what happens when the entire NetEase team suffers a collective amnesia. One day, they're like, let's create the best hunter ever! And then poof, their memories drift off into another galaxy. Seriously? If a journalist were to ask NetEase about Percy, they'd probably just shrug and say, Percy? Never heard of him. The level of forgetfulness surrounding Percy is reflected in his skin. While the perfumer is out there being worshipped by her Vera Nation army with a whopping 43 skins, poor Percy is stuck in the corner with a measly 6 A and S tier included. Both Survivor mains and Hunter mains are terrified of Percy for different reasons. Survivor mains dread facing him, because he's a solid chaser who doesn't even need a rocket chair, leaving Emma Wood's mains feeling completely useless. On the flip side, Hunter mains fear him too, because he's a tough nut to crack. He's hard to control, and when the exit gate swings open, he's practically about as effective as a wet noodle. Polun is honestly one of the most ridiculous characters out there. I mean, think about it. He's got 3 bodiless heads that merge into one big wheel, just rolling around like he's in some sort of Formula 1 race. If I were him, I'd be dizzy after all that spinning. In his wheel form, he can take hits from flare guns, smash through wooden pallets, and even survive being hit by a hefty tram in Ever's sleeping town. You'd think that would make him unstoppable, right? Nope, not at all. When he's in wheel form, he can't jump through windows. So if he's chasing you, just keep vaulting the same window over and over. It's a solid strategy. Plus, he's tough to control when he's rolling around, so just running in circles can really throw him off. So if you see Polun coming, just keep it moving and have some fun with it. Grace is definitely one of those characters that makes you wonder what the NetEase team was thinking. They had the bright idea to create a mermaid, but in a classic mix-up, they forgot that mermaids swim. So, they swapped out her fishtail for feet. Totally useless feet, I might add, and there you are. We've got Grace the Naiad. Now, Grace isn't feared because she's terrifying. It's more because she literally pees everywhere, soaking the entire map. Seriously, if there's anything she needs, it would be a diaper, not a buff or a nerf. Despite all that, she's considered one of the top 3 beautiful hunters, alongside Mary and Geisha, and she's part of the Gemini band. At first, they thought Grace would be the lead singer, but when she heard that, she got so mad, she started hurling rocket chairs around. Turns out, she can't even talk, so they settled on making her the drummer instead. On top of all that, Grace has a super tragic backstory that could bring a tear to anyone's eye. It's so heart-wrenching that survivors have been spotted willingly offering themselves as her prey, hoping to heal the wounds in her heart, even just a little. So yeah, she's got layers, both tragic and, well, a little messy. Many hunters are absolutely terrified of harassers, to the point where they end up playing nice with them. But not Philippe. Thanks to his machine gun that sprays something white and sticky, this hunter turns the tables and can harass the harassers instead, giving them a taste of their own medicine. Philippe, the wax artist, is basically the anti-harasser of the game. He's super popular in duo hunters because, in that mode, every character turns into a wannabe harasser. Even your clumsy Helena would be running around with a gun in that setup. The catch? Well, he's not the best chaser compared to some other characters out there. He can camp, sure, but BonBon or Galatea would do a much better job at that. The silver lining is that he can seriously hinder Cypher Machine progress with that white and sticky liquid he's spraying. Orpheus the Nightmare is what you get when you ask NetEase to whip up a hunter with free teleport and double blink abilities. He's like the all-inclusive menu at a hotel. You sleep there and get breakfast, lunch, dinner, and access to all the amenities. Now, a teleporting Orpheus isn't too terrifying until he suddenly pops up in front of you with that classic jump scare. Most of the time, though, survivors are left guessing whether he's about to pull off a jump scare or just chill for a bit. It's that uncertainty that keeps everyone on their toes and adds a little extra thrill to the chase. One word to sum up Keigan: obese. I can't help but call her fatty, especially when she decides to do that standby motion in pre-match chat. But seriously, a little warning. Don't go around teasing her. You might just find yourself on the receiving end of a Keigan chase, and, trust me, she'll hit you off that chair like you're a piñata. Now, Keigan might not have any flashy chasing or camping skills, but she knows how to stall Cypher Machine progress like a pro. Much like Joseph, her effectiveness really hinges on how well the player can drag out the game. So, if you're facing her, just be ready for some serious delays. Playing against Alva feels like waiting for a text back from your crush, an endless wait that seems to stretch on forever. His whole gig is about delaying Cypher progress, which means his normal hit damage takes a hit too. Any Alva mains out there know the struggle of dragging out a match for at least 10 minutes, if not 15 or more. It's like being stuck in a never-ending loop. And let's not forget, playing as Alva is a gamble. His success hinges entirely on the survivor's clumsiness. If they refuse to share the damage like it's a secret, you might just have a long day ahead. But if they've got their act together and know how to handle Alva, well, buckle up for a match that'll feel like it lasts an eternity. For me, this hunter is straight up terrifying, and If you think you can outrun him, think again! With origins based on the Wendigo, he's not just some average Joe with a hunting license. He's got those killer chase skills, darting around the map and delaying the survivor movement. He's a good choice for when you're hot on their trail or keeping an eye on that poor injured soul who are just chilling in the chair. And let's not ignore his talent for pulling the ultimate gate-crashing move. You know that cheeky Vera prancing around in front of the open gate? Yeah, Ithaqua will just snatch her back and serve her the slap of the century. In addition to being scary, Ithaqua is surprisingly newbie-friendly. Seriously, he's quite easy to use for those just starting out. But it applies when you look at the terms newbie-friendly from another angle too. You might find that when you encounter a newbie Ithaqua getting harassed by Norton, they will soon give up and become friendly. Sangria was once nominated as the best singer in IDV, but ever since the Gemini band came onto the scene, she's been out of a job, and she really doesn't like it. Now she's wandering around the manor, looking for someone to let out her frustration on. It's not hard to see why she lost her gig. Sure, her name says opera singer, but her abilities are anything but operatic. She jumps around the map like a cockroach on a mission and flings her scarf around in a bid for elegance, but instead of wowing her audience, she's just scaring them off. So, here we have it, the opera singer who's more feared than celebrated. When Norton Campbell dropped, the fandom collectively lost their minds. I mean, he's so hot that fans were like, murdered his fellow miners? Who cares? He did it for gold. Honestly, with the way people flock to him, I wouldn't be shocked if there's a Norton Campbell society somewhere, complete with spooky cult rituals and a shrine to his hollow belly. Still, let's be real for a second. Norton is smoking hot, hollow stomach and all. But on top of that, he's a nightmare to go up against as a hunter. Put him on a map with tight spaces, like White Sand Street Asylum or Red Church, and he's basically unstoppable, bouncing around those walls like he owns the place. Now, if you give Chi-Chi an open space, sure, maybe Norton loses a bit of his swagger. But in his element, forget it. He's the king of tight corners and frustration. Ivilovson. I'm pretty sure her name is just another way to say total headache. When she first showed up, she was so overpowered that players were practically begging for her to be nerfed. Well, they got their wish, but surprise, surprise, she's still one of the top bands in the game. Although, in my opinion, she's scary, sure, but let's be real, against a team that actually works together, she's kind of useless. Her claim to fame is that wild ability to detach from her main body and zip across the map instantly. Sounds terrifying, right? But honestly, if your teammates can bother to destroy that little tablet-looking stone she leaves behind, you'll be fine. Probably. The newest hunter in the game? The Goatman. Shocking name, right? Real creative. He's not exactly beginner-friendly. His punch only deals 25% damage instead of the usual 50%, which, let's be honest, is a bit of a bummer for newbies trying to learn the ropes. But hold up! This guy's a beast when it comes to camping. Even the so-called pros struggle to pull off a rescue when Goatman's lurking around. The fun part? If you happen to run into a newbie Goatman, chances are he's more likely to trap himself in the cage he created than actually trap the survivor, which usually means the match wraps up pretty quickly, with him hitting that surrender button. And that wraps up our roast of every hunter out there. Remember, this is all in good fun. No feelings were harmed in the making of this commentary. If you've got something to say, or if you're a hunter feeling a bit salty, drop your thoughts in the comment section. This is your sassy broadcaster Silmina, signing off. Catch you next time! 「